Hey, what's going on, everybody? Almost in full color panel is back, and of course, we are joined by B for this edition of the Destiny 2 Wellness Check. Gentlemen, Guardians, how you doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Rocking out as always.
So we were gonna do this with Season of Worthy, but well, I'll let you gentlemen tell it. How did you all feel about Season of Worthy?
Trash.
I
Straight
can't say it was
trash.
trash because I didn't play it long enough. Like I literally came in on the last week, so I'm probably not the best person to even judge it. So I am not going to comment.
It didn't
I
play
have-
me long enough.
I have some comments. I
Yeah.
played. I got up to like level 50 something in it. So I didn't really go through all the rounds like I usually did. But to be fair, man, like there wasn't anything going on in this season that was worthy of attention. They basically told us that, all the stuff that we were doing wasn't going to be really worth anything. So it was kind of like a throw it to the wind season. Like who really cares? I didn't really have anything for it. I didn't even play trials, to be honest.
Season of Worthy was weird. The Seraph Tower event was like dumb easy, mainly because you could just have 8 people in there, and it just didn't really feel like you were doing anything. Just because there was so many people out there just destroying every ad that walked through, so it kind of didn't have that feel that the Vex Offensive had or Sundial had. How it was just 6 of y'all. It was kind of catered to just 6 people. And then you had the whole trials issues with if you went flawless, you would get a piece of armor, but you could only get 1 armor piece per week. And then there were no adept weapons. So for that long hiatus of trials to come back with rewards that really weren't all that great, definitely put a
Mediocre at best.
dampen on people's moods in terms of enjoyment of something like that. So,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, that's why we really didn't get into Season of the Worthy, because unfortunately it just wasn't worthy speaking about. But now that we have Season of
I was
Arrivals,
say, I like what he did there. If nobody else caught that, I like that.
now we got Season of Arrivals here and a lot of new news surrounding Destiny 2. And it wouldn't be Destiny 2 without some shit going down. So, with Season of Arrivals came AFK farming. For those who don't know, there's a method in which you drop your light level to under 750, you queue up for a forge, and you just walk away. And what this will do is end up giving you a ton of umbral engrams by the time you finish grilling, watching TV, or taking a quick nap. A lot of people were pissed about this. Gentlemen, do you feel like AFK farming is underhanded tactic?
It's an exploit by the game that the designers messed up on. So, whether people take advantage of it, it is what it is.
I guess underhanded is kind of not the best way to put it, because I mean you're not technically cheating. I guess honestly you're not technically getting advantages over other people, unless I guess you want to say increasing your light level for the damn it, what's the thing called, for the lighthouse, the
No, trials.
That's why can I think of that? That's pretty much the only place that your light level matters in competition with other players. So
You forgetting about
mean-
the Iron Banana?
I mean, but it's not out,
Nah,
or it
they,
wasn't out since I've been playing. So
They switched to Iron Banner. It doesn't matter now and there.
oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen the Iron Banner since the last week of Season of the Worthy, and everything we've gotten so far in Season of, what is this? The Awakening? What is it?
Arrivals.
That's what it is. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's underhanded. I mean, I personally didn't do it, not because I like felt against it or something like that. I just due to my circumstances, I couldn't do it. And I'm not going to delve into that all deeply, but yeah, so well, yeah, I mean, I really honestly didn't care. It's not the first time people AFK'd at the forge, so I'm surprised that they even patched it, to be honest.
At least if it was a strike, I think they should have done it a lot faster, even though AFK and strikes are terrible as it is now. But a forge, you can literally get that done in 2 minutes, probably 3 minutes. I guess it's not a long activity. So I mean, if people did it, people did it. Who cares? People aren't out here manipulating their network like what they did with Crota. So
Yeah, I would say for me, I don't know. I don't really care either way. Like the like Terry said, the game the game was designed in such a way so that it was possible. It's not our fault for exploiting it and using it to level up. With that being said, like it doesn't seem like a very fun way to play the game for me, just to level up and I guess like beat down on everybody else in trials and stuff like that. It doesn't really speak to competition, at least in my sense. Like if you go into it with one leg up, it's like you're playing to beat down on other people, and like I
It shouldn't
guess
even
that's
be
fun.
fun.
Yeah, like you know what I mean? Like that's
You didn't work for it, so the winning shouldn't doesn't feel
like
as good.
like oh yeah, you ain't shitting. It's like wait, what? You literally didn't do anything to get to where you are. So I don't hate on people for doing it because like I said, that's part of the game. That's the way they designed it. That's their fault for messing it up. But like I wouldn't exploit it myself because it just seems like I don't know, a bitch ass way to go out, I guess.
I mean, honestly, I think probably maybe the reason why Destiny even patched it is probably because, of course, people is doing it. They're going to level up really fast, likewise, and then you're like, those same people are probably going to complain that they hit the level cap, and there's
Yeah,
nothing
I
for them
mean,
to do, or they can't get any stronger, and it's like, well, that was never the intent of this content. Like you weren't supposed to do that, and now you don't have anything else to do, and now it's Bungie's fault because the season went too quick. And now they're stagnant. So, but that's just how it rolls with these type of things.
yeah, that's pretty much how it always goes. Somebody complained enough, and then now it's just like, hey, we're gonna fix it.
Yeah, I don't mind it all too much. I mean, some individuals like myself, we just don't have the time that I used to have to play Destiny. I used to have all the time in the world, it felt like, but as of late, it just feels like I do not have the time. So, in some capacities, I can understand people utilizing this because it's like, well, I want to run the new dungeon, and the new dungeon is going to be a content piece that will be vaulted. And I guess we'll talk about that piece later, but it's just one of those things where it's like, well, I like to run it, but I don't know if I have the time to really, really get in and get my light up that high. So it's kind of one of those for people in my shoes, a really good thing that came by because I was like 960 something. So I was able to get up pretty decently by doing that real quick. And I didn't go to the full 1040 or I forget what the was it
I think
1060.
it's 1060.
1060.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
1060,
Yeah, I think I forgot what they wanted you to be for the new dungeon, but
1040.
okay, so yeah, I haven't made it to that point yet, and I was gonna like taper it off so I could actually try to play some of the content just to see what it was. But ultimately, for me, it's like, well, if that's what you want to do and how you want to do it, like it's cool. It's just weird territory in the end, in terms of that. But outside of that, how does everyone feel about Season of Arrival so far?
I like the
Uh,
intro.
Honestly, I mean, I feel like Season of Arrivals is just like Season of the Worthy and just like the season before that, or maybe it was the one before that, the one with Osiris. We had to power up those little places.
Was it the Dawning or Season of the Dawning or I
Yeah.
forget.
So to me, they literally have taken the same I guess the same infrastructure of content and was like, okay, we're gonna have these areas that you power up, and they had Osiris theme, and they were like, okay, remove the Osiris theme. Okay, bring in the Rasputin theme. Okay, there's a Rasputin theme. They're gonna power up these war set or whatever areas was on different destinations to power them up and get some perks. All right, Rasputin theme's done. Who's next? Oh, let's bring on these arrivals with the pyramid and the darkness. Yeah, that's a good thing. All right, let them power that up and and get some more perks for this month, or for however long season of the Rivals is. So I know we're not talking about DC, but it feels like what DC did when they went to the monthly content. You get little sections of the story for like this month or this month and a half or 2 months, and then it's like, and now we
Talking
pivot
about
to
them
something.
episodes.
Yeah, it's like, and now we pivot completely different to another part of the story, and who knows if or when you'll ever get back to that part. So maybe they're pulling a Game of Thrones. It feels like they're kind of rushing towards the pinnacle of the darkness anyway. So, but that's just my take on the whole season thing as a whole.
Yeah, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think when I forget whatever the new season that comes out in September, they said we're
Beyond Light,
getting
I
dark.
think.
They said we're getting new powers, right? The dark powers.
Yeah. Apparently, people were saying it's not actually darkness. It's supposed to be like stasis. That's kind of like an ice power or something. People were saying that it wasn't going to actually be the power of darkness, which I was pissed about.
Oh, well, I didn't hear that, but if it's anything like what that came this season, the grenade launcher that shoots those AOE, have you guys used that yet?
The
The
Morrow
White Horde or
Wither Horde.
nah,
That's what it is.
Wither
Wither
Horde.
Horde,
Yeah.
Have y'all used that yet?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that thing's crazy.
pretty fun.
If it's anything like that, I heard that's like everybody gets like the new power, just the fourth one. But it's not like everybody gets the like 3 new powers.
Oh,
Yeah,
so it doesn't have 3 subclasses under it?
Correct.
Like
it's just one that is the subclass, and you get one thing that you can do, like one super or something like that. But we'll see.
I like the intro. Kind of finally starting to at least continue a storyline. So it's nice to see Eris and to see if she's actually turned, or because there are all these speculations about her and that damn statue. So it's actually nice to kind of see some type of the thread being tied, I suppose, and to know what's about to happen. But now I'm wondering, looking at the season for the most part, do y'all think that the cutting of ties with Activision is starting to really show, or has the writing been on the wall for this like for a long time now?
I think that it showed with Season of the Worthy because the content was so bare, and it shows that they're working on like future of it. But there's something else I want to address. Like previously, we had discussed Destiny 3, and now I'm not even sure if that's ever gonna.
There is no Destiny 3.
There is no Destiny 3. There's just Destiny 2. So eventually, what they need to do is just drop the 2 and then call it something else. Because I think this is it. I don't think
the way they're
anything
talking,
else.
Fallen Light is it. It's gonna go Beyond Light and whatever the next one is, and then Fallen Light. And they're talking about they didn't want to put another number behind Destiny. So I think that's Bungie's way of saying that they are tired of developing for this game and they're looking to pivot away from it. They probably don't even know where to go with it.
Shit Matter coming out, but I don't. And they said that's going to be a RPG, like evolving world type thing too. I think they're going to try their hands a little bit. Like what was that other game that we played? That was a piece of shit.
Anthem.
Yep. I think they're going to try their hands at something like that. But I'm really disappointed if that's the case because I wanted to see what they were capable of Destiny on the next generation besides 60, frames per second.
Yeah, that's
4K. I was hoping that we get to see something greater. Go ahead.
No, I was saying like you brought up that new IP that they're working on that is pretty much sounds just like Destiny. Maybe they feel like that game might show better what they could have done if they didn't have the clusterfuck at the beginning of it. Like with people leaving, the writer leaving pretty much like midway through. Like, I mean, they had some huge obstacles to overcome, especially regarding the story, and it feels like they've been, it was like a vase that broke into 1,000 pieces and everyone got glue. It was like, I found a piece. Like, I don't know what this is, but it could probably hold something together. Like, and they've been just doing what they could. I think they finally like kind of limped it along enough to where they're like, all right, we can finally introduce the darkness and kind of wrap this thing up for better or for worse, and then move on. After the darkness, what would you do? That's what we've been waiting on.
Yeah, I would say that's like the pinnacle thing. That's what we heard from in the very beginning in Destiny 1, and now we're essentially
It'd be
at
cool
that
if
point.
the darkness was the traveler the entire time.
Yeah,
That's what you thought.
I don't know. I'm just saying that would be cool. Like a darkness was within you the whole time. You are your own
Well,
evil
yeah,
or
the
whatever.
duality, of course. You can't exist without having both. They're probably just trying to show you like which one you can,
So
which
that
side you choose.
I don't. So that's probably how they're going to end it. Then, like you said, one can't exist without the other. So if we do defeat the darkness, then we defeat ourselves pretty much. So maybe that's the cost. In order to
Not
erase the
necessarily the
darkness, you have to
cost.
erase the light
Well, yeah, and then it starts over. It always
Yeah.
goes like that. It's a
in that other
cyclical thing.
IP. Starts over in that
Maybe,
other IP.
maybe we'll start seeing traces of matter, Destiny too, like they did with Halo.
Yeah, we'll say. Or we probably already see it now. We just don't know it.
I'm gonna be honest. That does make me sad though, because I did want to see what they were gonna be capable of doing. Because I was hoping that they would really expand and get back to their original vision, which was like people just being able to join in and out, all that space magic. Like the the costumes were super cool. They had ideas for putting in different type of wildlife and stuff like that. I was hoping for a commercial hub where we could like go to a library and watch all the videos and cutscenes so that you can actually see the culmination of the story throughout the years versus having to go on YouTube to do it. Like they have the technology, and I just came up with that concept in a few seconds. These guys work on this, you know what I mean, for the past 7 years. I don't understand why we're not like why it doesn't look like that, or just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of having to hunt down the story.
Yeah, what the
You should
like? What
you
is
should
this?
never have to hunt the story in any game. I mean, it's kind of like how Final Fantasy 15 did.
I
Final
got
Fantasy 15 had
I
this
got
great
Grimoire books
story.
and shit that I had to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
and just like how you said, I didn't even know any of that stuff that happened in Final 15 until you actually came and told me. You were like, yo, I read this thing and all this cool
yeah,
stuff happened. I was
YouTube.
like, man, this.
It was like, look at all this crazy stuff that was happening. I was like, yo, that story is so good. And I caught none of it. Like I played through the entire game and I didn't even catch a whiff that this was happening. Not even some. At least in Destiny, I mean, I guess the
Swinging a
darkness
miss.
is there, but they make it too hard to figure out the story. You got to find all them Grimoire
Bro, if
cards.
you know about Savathun and the sisters and how orcs came to be and all the like, it's a really in-depth story, but there's no way in the world you would know it because you have to buy separate books and stuff. And I'm like, how is this? Why is this a thing? Like they have like it. Like I remember Mortal Kombat like Ultimate Collection on PlayStation 1. They had everything that you wanted, like every friendship. If you got it once, you could go back and see it. They had the whole story, all the cutscenes and everything. You could just go back and play them inside the movie thing. They had it in Tekken. You know what I'm talking about, Keith.
Yeah, little
You can go
theater.
back and watch all the movies in the theater and stuff. Once you got them. Why the hell isn't there a library where you can watch that? If they have the technology to do it, you can learn about all the different things that happen with a guy that voices it over. Freaking get Bifer, one of them other dudes, to they talk about this crap all the time. Just put their
Yeah,
voiceover on it. I don't know what the hell is going on with the studio. Like just like you said, maybe they gave up. But I'm disappointed because the idea or the concept of this for me was so grandiose. Like I feel like it still has longevity.
Well,
I guess.
speaking on giving up, in the Vidoc just recently, they talked about the expansions that were coming, and they also mentioned one other thing I wanted to talk about here, which is the vaulting of content, giving up on certain content at the moment. So real fast, I'll just read apart, just see if everyone's on board or they think it's something else. But they said that they want to do the content vault because the game is too big. They've been adding about 25 gigabytes of Destiny content each year, and those sizes not only stretch the hard drive but also push the limits of patching capability. Jesus. Now, are we on board with this explanation so far?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
They go on
on
to
board as in just as
that
we
that's the
understand.
reason, or that like, do you believe that's the reason that they are cutting content, or is there something else to it?
If you think about it,
I
to be
mean,
honest, it is a logical explanation as far as what they can do with the console so far.
I want Terry and B and Keith to give their opinions, and then I'm going to give mine. And I just want to see what you guys say.
Nah, I kind of don't feel like this is the real reason. I do feel like that, with certain things like how the menagerie was like everyone thoroughly enjoyed it, or what was the other one? The sundial. People really, really like that, and I just think they like to take that away so they can remix the idea and put it back out, and it feels like something new and fresh. But really, you just haven't played Menagerie or Sundial in so long that it feels like something new and cool. But really, they gave it to you. I think I had this conversation with B a long time ago about Destiny 2 and how I felt they were going to take things from one, give it back to you, and like just put a different bow on it and make it seem like, oh, here's a brand new thing, but the whole time it was something you had the entire time in Destiny 1. So I kind of feel like that's the whole, to further that, they need to cut this content so you kind of forget about it and make you fall back in love with what it was.
You want me to go, Terry?
Yeah.
I do think that part of it does serve the purpose of giving a limitation to the consoles and stuff like that. If they're operating PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, like it is limited, so they can't keep stuff in this game. It's got, I don't even know how much. I've ran out of space a couple of times. I had to delete a couple of games just to be able to play Destiny 2 multiple times every time they come up with an update. So I can believe that, but I also do know that it does serve another purpose, and I do think it is like, why keep these things around if people aren't necessarily playing them? And then also, like Keith just said, you can turn it around like in one of the seasons and give them back something if they're clamoring for it. But at the same time, you can also take it away, and it'll give more space so that they can add bigger content drops. Like, for example, another subclass, which I'm sure if you add that to the 3 that we already have, that's more physics that they have to, add to the game. And how does that interact with each of those different ones? How does it interact with the environments, etc.? Like, all that stuff takes space. So I think it does solve a double purpose. It probably serves, a tertiary one as well. Just don't know what it is.
Yeah, to be honest, I figured eventually they will cut content from the game regardless. And most likely it was bound to happen at some point in time. It's just a matter of when. Now I'm just curious exactly how it's going to work. Like, yeah, we're going to lose out on all the stuff. And then, of course, the PlayStation and Xbox, they're probably running into that issue that what was it, Rise of Iron ran into, where a lot of the memory leaks, a lot of the stuff they reused it just got worse. Now from Stadia, it's probably a little easier. They don't have to worry about that crap, but I think eventually it was bound to happen. It was just a matter of when. I don't really care if it's content nobody's really playing, so be it. Cut it, get it out the game if it's not needed. And it seems like that's what they're doing. Of course, what was it, Mercury, Mars, and there's another one too that's being cut. So some of them I'm okay with it being cut out the game. I don't care. But some of it I'm just like, I wonder why they're doing it this way. It could be a memory issue. It could be a whole speck of issues we don't know about yet. But to be honest, I don't really care if they do it or not. Especially as long as we don't get to the territory as far as how Call of Duty is right now. Because Call of Duty is a 250 gig game almost. I think it's somewhere close around there. If we don't get to that point, I'm okay with it. But there's probably a lot of reasons that they're doing it though.
Contrary to popular belief, this was not a part where I was going to promote Stadia over PlayStation or anything like that. I was actually shocked that Terry even brought that name up.
Lies.
But no, that's actually not it. I was just wondering if anyone was going to have an issue with them, removing content. And no one seemed to. Everyone seemed to say, oh, well, they need to remake it, or, oh, the game's getting too big and blah, 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 blah. I'm just shocked that, nobody brought up whole ownership. I mean, we've paid a lot of money for those DLCs, and they're taking a lot of those destinations, which have all of those adventures, all of those public events, all of those strikes, all that stuff. They're just taking it away, and you may or may not get it back. You may get some of it back. You may get all of it back, but you don't know. And they've already kind of put this game out into the sunset. Like, they letting you know that Destiny's coming to an end. Maybe at the very end, they might just unleash the entire vault and be like, here's everything back.
Nah, there's no way.
Exactly. So everyone's big thing with digital games is that, oh, well, we don't really own our games. And if I have a physical copy, I own my game. Well, they're showing you right now that the physical copy does not matter because they will take all the content. And if you want to play the next thing, you have to sacrifice all that content you paid for. There's no way to keep both. So
Well,
it's like, oh, so do you really own the game at that point? They're going to go into your hard drive and just remove content from it because the game's getting too big. Because that's the only way to alleviate the stress on your PlayStation. They can't just like let that content sit on your PlayStation and then add new content because that wouldn't solve the issue of the game getting too big. The game would just increase. Even if they just lock that content on their side, they still make the game bigger on the PlayStation or on the Xbox. So they literally are removing it from you. So that's what and that original disc that you have of Destiny 2 has none of that content on it. Everything we've gotten for the last how many years has been downloads digitally. Like, so that physical disc was just like the starter. I think what everyone's still playing on the Taken King disc. Is that the one you guys use?
nah, the Destiny 2 disc.
Yeah, original Destiny
Okay.
2.
I think
Okay.
Well, never. I bought
actually
Destiny 2
downloaded.
digitally. Yeah, I
did
bought Destiny
too.
2
Yeah,
digitally.
I have digital. I think about it.
Okay, so I was just shocked that nobody brought that up. I guess because it's like Sony and like I guess it's Bungie. Maybe they're like more trusted, so that fear isn't
No.
there.
No, no,
But it
no,
seemed
no,
like
no.
nobody was upset that they were losing content that they've already paid their money for.
Well,
Well,
that was
let
the
me.
thing. Like I used to tell B about the how they take stuff away and then give it back to you and act as if like this is some brand new idea or thing. Like Trials wasn't there for a while, and then they brought it back and made it seem like it was some brand new thing, and it was
But
people were so happy, and it was like we
that's
had
one
this
game
before.
mode. That's one
Yeah,
game mode.
and
If you take away some weapons and give the weapons back, that's just some weapons. They're
yeah.
taking whole destinations with everything that comes with those destinations. Like you can't play that strike if that destination isn't in the game anymore.
Well, shit, they gave back Mercury just recent, or not Mercury, the moon, and made it seem like it was some grandiose revamp of the moon, and I really didn't see it as such, but
I did.
That,
it
that's
was
what I'm
much
saying.
better than the
Grandiose.
D1 version. Oh, I mean,
So they're taking what? I think it's 4 destinations away.
Mhm.
they are taking away the following: Titan, Io, Mercury, Mars, and the Leviathan, and all the raids that come with it.
Oh shit.
So
I
what?
will
That's
keep
like
going.
40% of the game. 30, 40% at least.
No, yeah.
It's at least 30.
They will be
No, that
adding
might
the
be more.
Cosmodrome, Europa, and some strikes that came from the Cosmodrome, but they will not give all the strikes that come with the Cosmodrome immediately. They will be added in over time. They will eliminate all the raids with the exception of 3. And one of them will be the new raid. So I'm gonna guess they're gonna keep the new raid. They will keep probably Last Wish and probably Garden of Salvation. Uh and I guess just pitch every other raid. And then they will add Vault of Glass at some point in year 4.
Okay.
Wait, what?
I
Yeah.
mean,
Vaulted Glasses. To the game.
Oh my god, with the vault, with the crown of the Hazen Lord?
I don't know.
Mm.
I think they looked at it at some point in time, or they were planning on doing a look forward at it, but I'm not too sure on the whole details.
Like, let me put it to you like this: if they bring back, and just like you said, at every point, and they remove the Destiny 2 and then just made it Destiny like universe, shared universe, and then they brought everything back from Destiny 1 and then they added a couple new weapons this season. I could play that. I could be invested into that enough to play it. But if it's like, okay, we gave up and every few seasons you're gonna have to give up and go play this crazy thing again, like I might come back to it every now and again, but I don't see myself as the dedicated player that I was before when I thought that this game had like the 10-year legs and it was going to go to a Destiny 3. And perhaps I'd start over, but at least I would have like, I don't know, my titles or, it would have some recollection of the weapons that I had. Like maybe I would just be able to keep the exotics going forward or something like that. I could live with that, but if it's just like, all right, you just got to start over all the time, I might be I might be done.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess when it's, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. So I guess y'all
True.
just have a really high trust in Bungie to give you everything back.
Oh
that
no,
you
they're not
paid
giving
for it.
everything back.
I
In
mean,
terms of the
eventually.
original
But that's what
statement
I'm saying.
of,
Like that's
we're cutting the content because the game is too big,
but you
it would
paid
be
for it.
weird to then double back and give it all back if you're saying you're cutting all the raids, you're cutting these 4 planets, and certain PvE activities you also will be cutting. You're just gonna do all this cutting just to only give it back. That's why I said I feel like this is all. They're just gonna get rid of all this stuff, remix it, and then give it back at some point and
And
slow
charge you
drip
again.
and charge you again. Yep. And charge you
I
more money
mean,
just to get it right back. And people will be like, oh, there'll be a new version of the menagerie or something like that. And
but
people will be like, I love menagerie. And they brought it back and they'll pay again to play that type stuff.
I mean, I'm just shocked. It's just weird to me because it's like they're doing the thing that everybody hates. They're taking what you apparently own that you paid money for. Now, if they were just like taking away Seasons of the Worthy, stuff like that, like stuff I didn't have to pay extra money to get, okay, whatever. Like that's cool. Those were just add-ons. If you want to take those and remix them, fine. But they're literally taking content you guys paid for. And it's just like, well, that's cool. Like,
I think at
you know,
that point you got to start discussing like the value of what it is that you're for. Because I paid $10 for these seasons, but previously, like for the Forsaken DLC, that was $40. But I
yeah.
got I played the hell out of it. You know what I mean?
But they're taking it now, so you can't play the hell out of it after this.
I played the hell out of it though. So
you're
You would
cool with
still get the Forsaken stuff. You wouldn't get what was Mars?
your point
Warmind?
still
Or
stands.
mine.
I mean,
So you
yeah.
paid
His
for
point,
Warmind.
his point still stands. Warmind and the Osiris DLC with Mercury. So those
That-
two are getting cut, but then 2 original planets, Io and Titan, are getting cut.
that
So
was my
base
point.
game is also getting cut, which is also weird because I don't know what new players are gonna do because those planets are
Part of the
pivotal in
story.
the
They're gonna
the
get
Red
power
War
boosted
story.
right into Beyond Light. They're just gonna get power boosted right into it, just like they did with the Taken King. You're gonna start that like that.
See,
The first
that's a flaw in my.
that's what they're gonna do. But all right, I mean, long as you guys are cool with it, I mean,
Yeah, I never
I
said
wanted to hear
I know the
I'm
game.
not cool with it. It's just
y'all
the
just
way it is.
y'all just explained it away, like, blah blah, but y'all wasn't vehemently against it. Like when I was talking digital, and y'all like, no, I need my physical disc because if you don't have the physical, then you don't own it. As long as I got my physical disc, I can go back and play it whenever I want because I bought it. I
Not
have it
with
in my
this
hand.
game. Not with this game, no, because it's like an online game only. If Destiny's servers aren't
It-
up, like you can't play. Like you know what I'm
so
saying? Like I already
there was
knew that
content
this
on the
was
physical Destiny 1 disc, was it not?
yeah. But
And they're taking it.
even still, if their servers aren't up, like because this is an always constant online game, and I'm not gonna say it's the first of its kind, but it's a very unique game in that sense of like kind of being like DC, but also not being like DC. So if their stuff doesn't like literally like at some point they are gonna shut the Destiny servers off. So even if you have the disc and there's you and I both have a disc, we can both turn the game on and there's no way that we could interact with each other or even play it because again, their servers are down. Like what can you do?
So then we don't. All right. So then we never owned it then.
I would say for this game, it's just unique in a way that you can't say that you own the
I
content
mean,
the way
Call
that
of
we
Duty's
did
the
like
same
other
way.
stuff.
Everybody buys Call of Duty for multiplayer. Once those servers
Yeah.
die, that's a
Then
game
you
that
don't
you'll never play.
exactly. But
Sports games, same way.
they still have single player missions, and you can go throughout them and
You,
play them if you want
you
to.
can do that in Destiny too. You can still play your single player stuff. Like you say, you just won't have any interaction with. You won't have the game you bought. Put it like that, because you didn't buy it to do that.
No, I don't think you can even turn the game on and get into the like. You can't go to the.
Yeah, I think if the service ever got cut off, I don't think you
You
could
can't
play them.
you can't go to
Because
the
you probably can't
tower.
even retrieve your character because your character
That's what
saved
I'm
on
saying.
Bungie's side. Yeah.
Yeah, on. So
So that's
this is
even
a very
worse.
unique.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, man. But we all played into it because we thought the game was
All
gonna
right.
be.
Well, okay. I mean, that was my only thing. I just wanted to see how this was going to go. It went over a lot better than I thought it would go because like I said, we've discussed other things in the past, and I heard very much more of a vehemently against this type of stuff. But I guess, like I said, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't.
I guess to wrap up here, in terms of Beyond, I mean, is everyone looking forward to Beyond Light at this point, even with the vaulting of, I mean, we're starting to see the sunsetting of weapons kind of take root at this point, and people learning whether or not they truly like it or not. So I guess Beyond Light will now let people know if they are truly cool with stuff being vaulted at this point in time. But I guess from what you know about weapons being sunsetted, are you okay with the game ultimately being sunsetted? Because that's pretty much what's happening in all these destinations.
Can I tackle this first?
Yeah.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
So I'm still actually excited for it. I want to play it because there's new stuff to enjoy. When I say that, I mean not necessarily the armor, the weapons, but the ability, because that's what like ultimately changes what I do in the game. Like I can go back and play strikes. I did this in the first Destiny. I could hop on when y'all aren't playing and literally just load up the strike queue and then just go through and play the game because I had fun using all the abilities and weapons and stuff. Especially if there was like an arc burn or something like that. Go get my Thunder Lord, I forget what I had. What do we call it? Blade dancing or something like that in the first one. And you go around and cut stuff as a hunter, like just tearing shit up. That was my favorite part of the game. So if I get to do that with a bunch of new powers, I own all three characters. So yeah, I'm pretty excited for it.
I don't know if I'm excited, but I'm going to get it. I mean, I'm going to play it. I want to know more about the story, but I feel like I always come in saying that and always feel that, and I never learn more about the story because by the time I get to the next like DLC or the next whatever, like especially with seasons, like I would say, it takes about once I'm about 2 seasons removed, I forget all of that intricate like nicky knack stuff of what was really going on. It gets hard to piece it together without forgetting. And like B was elaborating on earlier in the conversation, there's really no way to go back and kind of refresh easily. I mean, I guess if you want to Sherlock Holmes the hell out of the game, which some people do, like, Bife, and kudos to him because that's the only time I understand this game is when I stumble upon his channel and he explains it very thoroughly and very elegantly. So, not a knock on Bife, but I shouldn't have to do that. But with that being said, I mean, I enjoy Destiny and I'm going to enjoy it more. I would say I'm actually looking forward to Beyond Light, not because of the content. I'm looking forward to it because it's coming to the PS5. It's going to be 60 frames per second, and I'm going to get to play with pretty much all you guys again. Like I stopped playing on the PS4 because it was 60 frames per second on Stadia. And I understood what Terry meant when Terry left to go to PC and he's like, yo, I just can't play on 30 frames per second no more. And I never understood it until I just got a taste of 60, which isn't nowhere near 100 some frames like Terry plays on. So I can only imagine how much different it is for him. And when I would go back and I'm like, damn, like I just don't want to play at this quality. But then it was always like, well, now I don't really have anyone to play with. So now I'm getting that quality that I enjoy. And I'm also going to get way better load times, which I also enjoy on Stadia, but it's going to should be even better load times on PS5. So I kind of get everything that I want back in Beyond Light. And it's not the content that's giving it to me as more of a perfect amalgamation of new system hardware, and I guess quality of life improvements from Bungie as a whole since they're getting that new hardware to play with. So that's really what I'm looking forward to. Getting the fire team back, raiding till 2-3 in the morning like we did back in the day. And so that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the biggest thing right there. I mean, I started on PlayStation, went to PC. I was like, I just can't come back. I can't stand the FOV, the differences in that. So hopefully they actually add that into the one for PS5, but I doubt it. If it's not on PS4, it probably won't be on PS5, but I'm hoping it will be. But I am kind of looking forward to it. I do kind of miss having a game that I was just addicted to play. Now it's more so just hopping around and finding something. So hopefully Destiny kind of brings that back, and I'm looking forward to the next one.
I'm currently on the fence. I want to look forward to it, but just certain things really kind of throw me. I'm hoping that the way the season of Arrivals opened, well, hopefully there's more of that in season of Arrivals, more of the talking of the pyramid ships, and more giving meaning, I suppose, to what it is that you're doing, and better storytelling. It's funny. I'd like tell B all the time. I'll go and I'll play, you know, a Last of Us or a Persona 5 or a Final Fantasy 7 remake, and what I'm sure is about to be in a few days, Last of Us 2, and the storytelling is
Yeah.
like so fucking masterful when you come over to Destiny, and it's like if you guys could just take half of that and just tell it. But I'm on the fence. I'm just hoping for just some better storytelling elements. It has a great gun feel, ability feel. I don't think they've ever really had too many misses in terms of the gameplay itself. It's just more so content and that type of stuff. And we'll see how this whole removal of locations goes, and that will be quite interesting to see in the end.
Me neither.
I dive on, I play it every now and then, but outside of that, it's just like, yeah.
Hopefully, I know they were going to do it, but hopefully it's sooner than later in 2021, and we do get crossplay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this podcast. Thank you for listening, all my guy guardians and my girl guardians. Jesus Christ.
I think Guardian's just like the gender neutral one.
It is gender neutral to all the guardians out there. All right, thank you for listening, and we'll catch you in the next Destiny 2 wellness check, which I am quite certain will happen sooner than it did with Season of the Worthy than later. That being said, peace, be easy, be safe, be blessed.
Bye.
Peace.